This is the Blood Red podcast from the Liverpool Echo, giving you the inside track on all the big talking points from Anfield.
A very good afternoon and welcome to this festive edition of the Blood Red podcast. It's Boxing Day, or at least it will be when you're watching this. We're on a pre-recorded show here, which may explain why we've got the same clothes on from the previous edition. We do wash them and press them. Mark, do you own a Corby trouser press?
I do not know, unless I've got one for Christmas, in which case, yes, I do.
We'll get this confirmed in the comments maybe later once we've got an answer to that.
Yeah.
I'm joined yet again by Paul Gorst and Mark Jones from the Liverpool Echo. Gorsty, how are you doing?
Good, yes. I'm going to say I had a cracking Christmas dinner, probably.
All the trimmings?
All the trimmings, yeah, I hope. But yeah, it's we are now looking ahead, aren't we, to Boxing Day and, well, the day after Boxing Day, which is
Boxing Day now.
Yeah, there is no festive fixtures, is there, which is a bit of a shame.
It is a bit of a shame, but
26th.
here you are working anyway.
That never stops, does it?
It doesn't, no. Thousands of people read your opinions, Gorsty, but what's your view on Brussels sprouts?
Not big on them, if I'm honest. No, I get over them. I can sort of get them down me if they're on a Christmas dinner, but I'm not. It's not my favourite part of the dinner. Like
where do you excel on that plate?
Pigs and blankets.
Pigs and blankets.
I'll just have pigs and blankets.
My lad's the same.
Dozens of the things.
He would just eat a diet of pigs and blankets if he could.
Do you know what? I seen on a menu as well recently. It wasn't pigs and blankets. It was cows and blankets, which was like little steak slices. Which I need to get them on.
Have you ever had dates in blankets? Dates?
No.
Okay, try it. I had it in Gran Canaria once. Incredible. Thought they were pigs and blankets, and then later discovered I wasn't eating pigs. I was eating dates. They're absolutely incredible. Yeah, so try and get them on your table for next year.
I definitely want cows and blankets on there.
Cows and blankets. Yeah,
I should catch on.
Sounds big. I'll be honest with you, but I'll try anything once. What about yourself, Mark?
It's the roasties, isn't it?
It's the roasties.
It'll be the roasties. Pigs and blankets, I'm a fan as well. Dates sound good. Yeah, I'll give them a go. But yeah, the roasties, the whole thing, really. You get them well. It makes the whole thing, doesn't it?
Just eat it in a big Yorkshire pudding.
Oh,
yeah.
Lash it all in.
That's like a toe in the hole, then, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose it is. Yeah. Swimming in gravy.
Not quite. Yeah, he's gone too far. Speaking of Christmas dinners, I actually owe one of our colleagues a formal apology, don't I? Ian Doyle.
Oh, yeah.
Right down the middle of the camera.
Right, yeah. So I would like to take this opportunity to apologise to Ian Doyle for accidentally eating his Christmas dinner at the Liverpool Echo Sport Christmas dinner party the other week. I'm happy to explain what happened. I had ordered, it was the belly pork, wasn't it? Same as yourself, Gorsty.
You just switched off, didn't you? That's the crucial moments.
A bit like Liverpool's defence now and again. A lack of concentration at a crucial moment. Let me down. And what happened was we were waiting for the dinners to come out. My lad called me out of the blue. I took a quick call.
Are you blaming him?
Well, yeah. Well, just just setting the scene. And then the dinners turned up, and the guy goes, "Who's ordered turkey?" And I basically panicked.
You were like the Arsenal offside set. You strode forward with your hand up like that.
Like Tony Adams in his pomp.
Alan Shearer celebration. I love that.
And before you know it, I'm going to be honest, I was quite hungry. And I had Ian Doyle's turkey dinner on the table, which I thought was mine. I ate it quite quick, I've got to be honest.
You did wolf it down, yeah.
I did, I was starving. And then when I looked down the table, I could see a waiter by Doyley who's like this. Basically, I didn't order this. And then it was at that point that I realised I had actually ate his dinner. Sorry, Doyley. I'll get you something back next year to make up for it.
No, you just carry on. Keep doing it
every
year.
Eating his
just keep on doing it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Do it.
I don't want to annoy him anymore. Christ. Okay, well, that's enough about Christmas dinners, I think. Liverpool have got some important fixtures coming up. The first one is tomorrow at home to Wolverhampton Wanderers, who, on a quick check at the bottom of the Premier League table, are the strongest team in the league because they're holding up the other 19 sides, and they look absolutely useless. So surely this has got to be 3 points as an absolute must for Liverpool tomorrow, Bob.
Yeah, 100%. Just building on that, big result at Spurs and what has been a decent few weeks for Liverpool, all told. 6 unbeaten at the moment, some big wins in there as well. Inter away in the Champions League in particular. And doesn't matter what your season ambitions are at Liverpool, whether you had pretensions on retaining the title or whether it's just a place in the top four now. You've just got to be beating the teams who are rock bottom at home at any point of the season. So Wolves are having a really terrible time of it, to be fair, aren't they? They were maybe a bit unlucky against Arsenal a week or two ago now, but Liverpool have got to be putting Wolves to the sword. No messing, no shock results, no nothing like that. We know that they're going to be carrying one or two injuries and seeing what the team might be for this one. Szoboszlai suspended, of course, and he's going to be a miss. But ultimately, Liverpool have to be thinking of getting 3 points on, tomorrow.
Liverpool have had a couple of crises of confidence at certain points in this season where they haven't looked the best. They had a dismal run of results at one point, which we thankfully appear to be past now by the looks of things. And obviously that the same can be said for Wolves, who obviously probably just having a non-stop crisis of confidence. Is there any danger that they could turn up at Anfield with the mindset this is a complete free hit and we can just go for it, basically?
I'm sure that's what they'll do. I mean, I think you saw after the weekend they got beat by Brentford, didn't they? And there was comments after the game, Doherty, wasn't it? You just mentioned it, and they, I'm sure they feel resigned to what's likely to happen. 2 points off, is it 16 games, 17 games now? It's dire.
17,
yep. 17. It's a dire state of affairs. It's a club that I think it feels like it's been coming because they seem to sell off their best players every year and never replace them. You like Cunha going to Man United.
Aït-Nouri.
You go back even further. I mean, when Ruben Neves went to Saudi Arabia, Thiago Jota going to Liverpool. They've sold lots of players over the years and never really quite replaced them, and they seem to have just been sleepwalking into this situation. But yeah, look, at the end of the day, they're a Premier League football team, so they're going to turn up. They're going to turn up something. They're going to have a go. I mean, I was just thinking back to previous years. Wasn't there the Hodgson time?
Yeah,
didn't they
Stephen
lose?
Ward, 2010.
Lost at home to a pretty dire Wolves under Hodgson, I remember. So
we lost all our teams under Hodgson.
Yeah, but it was around this time of year, wasn't it? So there's a little warning from history there because I'm sure that Wolves team were down there at that point. And even thinking back to last season, it was really quite a nervy game, wasn't it? It was towards the end when everyone knew Liverpool were probably going to win the league, but it was like trying to get those last few results, and it was a 2-1 with Wolves pushing at the end. I remember Endo winning loads of fouls and everyone cheering, and it was a bit of a nervy Sunday afternoon, wasn't it? But again, Cunha, he was their best player by a million miles. He's not there, so they have lost these leaders for them, and they don't really seem to have replaced them. I mean, I watched that Arsenal game that you mentioned, and they were unfortunate, but they do just seem a bit of a collection of lads who've sort of been thrown together in the last maybe like year and a half, 2 years, and it make you feel a little bit for the manager. Perhaps he's obviously new in there, and he took the job, I think, because the club is close to his heart, isn't it? There was a lot of bit of controversy when he left Middlesbrough, but he clearly wants to go in there, and he probably already he's gone in there to prepare him for the Championship next season. When you wouldn't be shocked if they did come back. So
you don't think there's any danger of him getting the chop himself then on that basis? Because obviously he's left a good job at Middlesbrough there, which they were they're still flying high in the Championship, and he's on paper it looks a bit of an odd call. But
I think if you're him, I mean, surely he must have had some sort of assurances by when he'd go in, and I know there's lots of stuff going on behind the scenes there. The chairman, and it's a pretty unhappy football club.
Yeah.
So. All of that said, they're going to turn up to Anfield, and I'm sure they'll put up a fight. But it strikes me as the sort of game. Liverpool have been pretty good recently, getting the first goal, haven't they? And it strikes you as that sort of game. If they can do that, first minute against Brighton, wasn't it? If they could do something like that, then might be a nice afternoon.
Do Liverpool need to score early in this game to just not so much settle nerves, but as you said, the Wolves supporters are not very happy at the moment. There's a lot of discontent. I just feel like, if they go behind early doors, are they going to get on the players' backs, and that kind of plays into Liverpool's hands a little bit?
I mean, I hope so. It's been a real bugbear of mine how slow Liverpool are in games. Brighton aside, when they score after 46 seconds, which is the earliest goal since 2019, I think. So, it doesn't happen a lot at all. Liverpool have only scored 2 in the first half since the start of November, and one of those was in stoppage time when Salah gets a gift off Martinez against Aston Villa and he scores. So, yeah, it's been a real issue for Liverpool, starting with this kind of intensity you'd hope. And at certain points, you can understand it when they go away to a Tottenham or particularly into Milan and they just look to grow into the game and just look to get a bit of stability first and foremost. But the game on Saturday is the perfect example of needing to see a team who fly out the traps with a bit of intensity and a bit of, getting on the front foot, a bit of aggression in their attacking play, their attacking patterns. So, yeah, I mean, obviously it's not imperative, but you just want to see Liverpool approach the game with the idea that they are the better team, they are the team who are going to be dominant, and start as they mean to go on, because, okay, they're on a good run at the moment, but we're just used to seeing Liverpool act like the bigger team, the bigger club, and at the moment they're not doing that enough for me.
No, it's still very much a work in progress, isn't it? Yeah. And we're a long way away from where we want the team to be. I think everyone can agree on that. But at the same time, we've had to go back to basics a little bit and bring that stability in, and that has happened, and results have improved. And if we look to this game, that should hopefully be another win, and then you've got Leeds after that as well. So wins breed wins, don't they, Mark?
Yeah, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to get another 3 points off the back of the win at Spurs, Brighton, West Ham. So, they've been racking up these points of late, and you have to say this is. I mean, there literally is. Look at the table. There literally should not be an easier game in the Premier League this season. So let's not mess about. It's a game they should just win. Leeds are on a decent run at the minute, but again, coming to Anfield, you'd make Liverpool big favourites for that one. I know. The Ellen Road game was only a couple of weeks ago, and that didn't go as planned. But you'd think Liverpool at Anfield should be favourites there. Fulham, then good side, but again, if you're the champions going away to a ground like Fulham, you're thinking, can they get a win there? So you're looking at a good stretch potentially of wins. I'm getting ahead of myself given the way this season's gone, but you are looking at a real potential chance for some points, and then it's Arsenal away, isn't it? And you could hopefully get into a position where if they can get these points, it kind of makes Arsenal away a bit of a free hit, and you go into it and you almost shift the onus onto them, because it'll be an Arsenal side with City, with Aston Villa breathing down their necks, and you say to them, come on, this is your test here, and they can almost, and Arsenal don't necessarily respond to being tested off very well at the time, do they? So it's just a chance for 3 points against Wolves, and the squad situation isn't ideal. It's very thin at the moment, isn't it? But you'd like to think that whatever 11 they put out plus 3-4 off the bench, you'd think that should be enough to beat this Wolves side.
I think the good thing is as well is if they can win, they can watch that Chelsea Aston Villa game with the feet up really and see what happens there. I'm not sure what would represent the best result for Liverpool in that one, to be honest, but whatever happens is probably a good result for Liverpool, because Aston Villa have certainly emerged, haven't they, as a force. Are they Liverpool's biggest threat now to finishing third?
Certainly to third, yeah.
At Chelsea, how serious are they? So I think just get the job done against Wolves, and then you can watch that Chelsea Villa game, and just takes the pressure off, doesn't it? Whatever happens.
I think a draw is probably going to be the best result there overall, isn't it? Did you? I'm always delighted when Man United lose a football match. But even the other day, I was like, I don't know, a draw. Last week, a draw might have been better in that game there, because they have got a head of steam, Villa, haven't they? They're looking really good.
Yeah. I mean, Morgan Rogers looks a brilliant player, doesn't he? And you wonder how much further he can go. If he keeps this up, is he going to have the likes of Liverpool sniffing around, or an Arsenal or a Manchester City? Because at the moment, he looks like one of the best players in the Premier League, doesn't he? Yeah,
really good player, and they've got a big couple of weeks, haven't they, Villa? I think the fixture starts to get a little bit harder now, so they're not going to keep winning forever. But Emery's a good manager. He always has been, and he's got them playing in a way that I don't see a sort of sustained title challenge, but I definitely see them, mixing it with everyone else now, and it's looking increasingly like the top 4, top 5, isn't it?
Well, Emery knows his way around the Europa League, doesn't he? To put it mildly, I think he's won it 4 times.
Yeah, there's that as well.
3 years on the run with Seville. That's a competition they're in. Is that something that could actually derail them in terms of the league?
It could do, yeah. Thursday, Sunday, that schedule isn't the kind one to teams who have to do it. So, yeah, I mean, that's something to look at sort of in the new year when it all starts to thicken up again. So, yeah, I mean, it's I hadn't considered that, but I'm not sure whether they've got the biggest squad in the world to handle that and keep fighting on both fronts. So, yeah, that's an interesting one. But, I mean, Liverpool at the moment just need to continue the run that they're on, don't they? Just to continue moving away from, the worst point of the season, which, was hopefully in the rearview mirror now. But, yeah, like Mark says, they just can't really mess about against Wolves on Saturday. 3 points and then look ahead to New Year's Day and just carry on building, I think.
Let's say Liverpool beat Wolves, as we expect them to, and then they've got Leeds at home, a good chance for another 3 points there. Then they've got Fulham away, which Fulham are an interesting team, very entertaining to watch, but you never know quite what you're going to get with them. But if Liverpool do get the three wins there, which will put them in a really good form then, and then going to Arsenal. Arsenal are in, I feel like, in the position now that Liverpool were not that long ago, where they're close to winning the league, but they can't get over the line. And there's a bit of pressure that goes with that, isn't there? A bit of mental pressure of trying to get the job done, and they've been accused of bottling it before, as Liverpool were on a few occasions in the past as well. Will that give Liverpool a little bit of an edge if they go to the Emirates and try and get in their heads a little bit?
I mean, we're looking ahead a bit here, aren't we? But yeah, every time I see Arsenal, they're not the greatest team to watch, are they? Let's face it. They've just beaten Everton there with a penalty. Of course, Everton should have had a penalty themselves, to be perfectly honest. They beat Wolves at home. We've just spoken about how Wolves are at such a low ebb, and they've beaten them with an own goal off the goalkeeper. Yeah. It's the post comes back, hits him on the back. And then was it another own goal from Mosquera with a misdirected header? So, yeah, I mean, they're getting results at the moment, Arsenal, but they're not quite showing the performances that you'd expect a team. All this talk of, Arsenal seemingly won it in November time, going off what a lot of people were saying. Not necessarily people of an Arsenal persuasion, but everyone was falling over themselves to just sort of anoint them as champions, weren't they? And for a period there, Man City went up on Saturday. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be between those two anyway, but if you're looking ahead to Liverpool's game there in a couple of weeks, it's a chance to, put a spanner in the works from Liverpool's perspective, I guess. I don't think they're going to be catching them by any means, but, just something to, if they can defend properly as they have been generally in the last few weeks, Liverpool, it could cause Arsenal 1 or 2 problems.
Let's bring it back to Wolves then, as I did get a little bit ahead of myself there. Dominic Szoboszlai is suspended, so someone's going to have to come in. He's probably been Liverpool's best player over most of the season, and brings great energy to that midfield. How are they going to replace that?
Yeah, I mean, can they sneak on like 3 players and do all the jobs that he does? I think he started every Premier League and Champions League game. He's been that important. He's been, he was the shining light, wasn't he, when everything was going a bit wrong. He never stopped, and you're seeing it now. He's delivered. You look at the penalty in Milan. That's a big moment, isn't it? It's a big moment in the season, that, and he's been able to take on that responsibility. So, in terms of how I think I'd be looking at Wirtz, and I'd be saying, maybe we need you to do a slightly different job. We need you to be a bit more energetic around the pitch, perhaps be a bit more willing to maybe get back as well. Obviously, there are issues elsewhere in the side, because at the minute it feels like if you take someone out, there's always gaps to fill, because there's not that many players around to fill them. So I'd be surprised if he moved away from what we've seen. I know it's Wolves at home is a different game than Tottenham away or Inter Milan away, but the numbers dictate that they have to do it in this way, I think, now. So I think you'll see Gravenberch, you'll see McAllister, you'll see Jones, and then you'll see Wirtz, and then can they replicate some of what Szoboszlai does between them? Yeah, I think they can. You have to say, I just feel like we're just slagging off Wolves, doesn't it? But it does have, if he's going to miss a game, if he's going to be suspended for one Premier League game, well, it might as well be the side on 2 points at home.
Yeah,
so it's not Arsenal away, is it? It's not panic stations. So it's unfortunate. I'm sure it's giving him a nice Christmas though, and a well-deserved feet up.
Yeah, and that's the point, isn't it? He is getting a little bit of a rest there as well, which he's probably well and truly due. At the time of recording, we're not in 100% certain on Conor Bradley's fitness situation. Obviously, withdrawn against Tottenham. Even if he was past fit to play, Paul, have you got any temptation at all, due to the opposition, to maybe bring Frimpong in for this and say, get up that wing?
Yeah, he's only started one Premier League game, Frimpong, which was the first one against Bournemouth way back in August. So he's had a tough time, hasn't he, with the hamstring injuries that he's had. He was out for 2 months with the last one. He gets injured against Frankfurt, which was October the 22nd. He comes back on Saturday, so it's nearly 2 full months. So this would be a nice one for him to come back in, I think. And we're going to come to our teams, aren't we, later on? But maybe, Frimpong at right back and Federico Chiesa at right wing.
Federico Chiesa, another player who fans would like to see more of, but have been denied for whatever reason. A great character, isn't he? And he does have the energy, actually, that could replace Szoboszlai in the side. Is that something you consider?
That's fair, yeah. He's the one, I think, isn't he, when it comes down to it and you consider no Isak, and we're presuming no Gakpo just yet. I know it's not that serious injury, is it? But I'd be surprised if he's there for Wolves. So he ultimately ends up being the one, I think, that is the most logical to play on that left. It's going to mean on the right. Sorry, it's going to mean a slightly different setup, I suppose. But he's a funny character, isn't he? Chiesa. He's I think there's a little bit of, I don't know if the whole cult hero thing is gone a little bit overboard for my liking, perhaps. And he I'd like to see him make a bit more of a difference in certain. He seems to come on for a minute here and there, doesn't he? And runs around and does something. So it'd be nice for him to start a game. And again, Wolves at home, it might be the perfect chance. Like, can he start a game and can he make a difference in the team from the start? Because you feel as though Slot, he's proven, hasn't he, time and again, he doesn't necessarily trust him to start him in the more important games. I know they're all important games, but the difficult away games and things like that. So it feels a tiny bit like if he doesn't start this one, then when is he going to? Because the options aren't plentiful, are there? I mean, I guess there's a Rio and Gamoa potential. You could put him on the left and Wirtz on the right, maybe. You're scratching around a bit. You could play Bradley and Frimpong and do it that way. There's not a ton of options. Chiesa is probably the best one, so I would do that, I think. And I'd say to him, go and run around like a madman, like he often does for 5-10 minutes, and do it from the start.
Do you think he's better suited on the right, or can he play through the middle? Because I was going to say, because obviously it's no Isak. We've got Hugo Ekitike, who, for whether it's because of Isak or not, often doesn't play 90 minutes. Is he a legitimate option down the middle as well as playing in midfield? And
you could do it as a 4-4-2, couldn't you? You could say go and get up there with Ekitike and play off him, maybe. Again, that leaves you a bit short, perhaps on the wings, but Wirtz could play either side. You might have Curtis Jones, so it's it just feels like can you drop just someone anywhere at the moment and fill a gap, because the squad is quite thin. I'd like to see him start though. I think
it's the squads are quite thin at quite a key point as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
festive period.
Yeah.
So I think there's 4 days between Wolves and Leeds, and then 3 days between Leeds and Fulham. Now, I'm assuming he's not going to play the same team in all 3 of those matches. He's going to have to change things around. So, how do you do that? Is that a case of just picking your best side, or is it a case of looking at the teams you're playing and making some sort of strategic decisions?
I think he's going to have to to make some changes for the game tomorrow, isn't he? You know, you look at Wolves, like we've said, you know, they're having a terrible time, and when the options are a little bit thin on the ground, you know, you make the changes that you feel can get you through. So, yeah, I mean, even if Liverpool had a full complement of players, you know, you'd still look to make changes and keep a few people fresh for this one. It's just a question of where are the opportunities to do that. You know, maybe at left back, possibly at right back, midfield maybe, but certainly up front the options are really thin on the ground, aren't they? So, you know, there can be changes, but only to an extent.
Well, without further ado then, let's crack on and pick our teams for the game against Wolves. Quite often these teams can come out looking quite similar, but I've got a feeling this one might be all over the show. I don't know, I might be completely wrong at the end of it, but we'll see. But we'll assume that Alisson will be in goal. We'll take that as a given. Mark, what would you go with for your defensive line?
I think, you know, we're obviously waiting on Conor Bradley, but yeah, going on off what you said there, you have these 3 games in short space of time. I think you'll probably see maybe Bradley starts 2, Frimpong starts 1, if Bradley is fit enough to do that. So I guess you're judging it off which one is he fit enough. Yeah, maybe you say to Bradley, you can sit this one out and get yourself ripe for 2 games in 4 days against Leeds and Fulham. So yeah, I'd maybe go with Frimpong at right back, and then I'd keep the rest the same with Kirkes at left back. But again, the idea that Robertson will probably come in for one sooner or later. I think Kirkes has been playing okay of late, so I'd keep him in for that one. So yeah, I'd same as at Spurs, but with Frimpong for Bradley.
What about yourself, Gordon?
Yeah, I think I might give Robertson a go. Actually, Kirkes has done well, in fairness, in recent weeks. But like I just mentioned, then if you're looking to keep some players fresh, left back is probably one area where Liverpool are quite blessed. So yeah, I'll give Robertson a run out and Frimpong on the right.
I've gone with Frimpong as well, just purely based on him doing okay the other night. But obviously, we're not quite sure on Bradley. But I'd just like to see him get a chance to try and attack a team that are obviously quite vulnerable at the moment. So you know, why not? So yeah, Frimpong, a right back, Konate and Van Dijk, and I've actually left Kirkes in for the same reason, basically, just because I know you said he's done quite well. I'm a bit of a Kirkes skeptic, I've got to be honest with you, but I'm leaving him in because I think he needs just to keep playing more games and develop and try and become more of a potent threat going forward, which was what we were signed for, and I just don't think we've seen it yet. But I think this might be a good game to try and do it. So Frimpong, Konate, Van Dijk, Kirkes. Mark, what about your midfield?
Feels like it has to be the same, doesn't it? It feels like it has to be Gravenberch, McAllister, Jones. Although it was interesting to see Naoni get a minute or 2 against Spurs. I wonder how much of that was killing time. The fact they were playing against 9 men, and you know, I'm not quite sure Slot trusts him to start a Premier League game just yet. But it would be nice if they could get ahead in this game and maybe he gets 20 minutes, because it feels like, you know, a lot of the same players are racking up the minutes, doesn't it, now? And without Szoboszlai, it would be important to have some energy in there. It's helpful they've got this week build up to this game, to be fair. So, yeah, I think you'll see Gravenberch will play. I think McAllister, Jones, and then the rest of it kind of depends on how you're structuring it, I suppose. I mean, you know, we've seen, obviously, they've essentially played with 5 midfielders, haven't they, in certain games, but I wonder if now it might be a game to go back to the old formation, if you like, and maybe play. I'll just carry on. Maybe play Wirtz on the left, Chiesa on the right, and Ekitike in attack, or you say to Wirtz, you know, you're dropping in, and it's more of a 4-4-2. So it's that to me would be the team. I'm almost a little bit undecided on the formation, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, you give us 2 for the price of 1 there, Mark. So fair play. What about yourself then?
Yeah, it's the same midfield, just because there aren't any other options. You know, even Endo's injured, isn't he? So it's going to have to be McAllister, Gravenberch, and Jones. And then up front, I'm going to give Chiesa a run out on that right. Doesn't really get much of a look in, does he? Only started 1 Premier League game, actually, since he's been at Liverpool, which was last season. But, you know, this could be a good chance for him. And then Florian Wirtz off the left and Hugo Ekitike leading the line.
I've been proven fairly wrong. These teams are quite similar. Don't know why I thought they were going to be so different, but yeah, I've got basically.
Is there anyone else? Is there?
No.
Isn't
I mean, unless there's some positive updates on the likes of Gakpo and maybe Bradley when John Slot previews the game, but but even if there was, you still wouldn't risk too many of them, would you? And that feels like a team that's good enough to beat Wolves at home.
Yeah, I agree. So Jones, Gravenberch in there, McAllister, and then Chiesa on the right, Wirtz on the left. I do prefer him in the middle, if I'm honest, but I have a feeling he might be floating about the pitch a bit more. Anyway, and the great Hugo Ekitike through the middle, who has an opportunity to score more goals. He's on a hot streak, isn't he? I mean, who can stop him?
He's been brilliant. He's really taken that mantle, hasn't he? It feels like somebody, one of these new signings had to do that, and we all expected it to be Wirtz or Isak, but he's come into the club and he's gone. Yeah, I belong here. This is my stage. I think he's third now in the Golden Boot. I mean, Haaland's obviously going to win it, so it's a little bit pointless. But to be the third top scorer in the Premier League is no bad thing. And yeah, he feels to me like he's just this new sort of hero that people can get behind. I mean, I mentioned this actually the other day, but my nephew went to his first ever game against Brighton, and my sister asked him, "Who do you want on the back of your shirt?" Ekitike. He goes to the game. Ekitike scores after a minute. And stuff. He scores 2 goals in the game. Help me now, because I bought him some Ekitike things for Christmas, so it's perfect for me. But and that's the thing. And kids want that, don't they? They want these new heroes. They want these new players to watch. So he's taken that mantle, and he just looks at home, doesn't he? He looks like a real top quality striker. And
he is aiming to become the first top scorer not named Mo Salah since who?
Philip Coutinho.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Which, if you think that was impressive knowledge I displayed there, I can tell you that Gorsty asked me this question the other day, and it took me about half an hour to come up with the correct answer. But I can tell
it's a whole other podcast.
I can tell you that on the Port Sunlight Vets Christmas curry on Saturday, I did use that as a trivia question, and you were credited. So don't feel I just lifted it off you.
I wouldn't have blamed you,
even if I did. Okay, let's go on to predictions then. I'll start with you actually, Gorsty. Let's go first.
Yeah, I mean, it's the way Liverpool have been lately. Quite defensively miserly, without battering teams down the other end. I'll go with a nice steady 2-0.
Oh, that is a steady scoreline. Mark,
let's go 3 then. Let's have one at the end, just a little cherry on the top. I think ultimately they just have to get the job done, get a win, and move past it. But no, I think all being well, it should be a comfortable victory. But you never know. But no, I'll say 3-0.
Shall I be the Christmas Grinch?
1. 2-0 defeat.
I have predicted enough Liverpool defeats on this podcast recently. That is my full quota, I'm sure, for the season. Liverpool are going to win, but I think they might concede 1. A Christmas gift.
2-1?
No, I'll go 3-1. 3-1. Anything better than that. Well, actually, I'll be going to say anything better, I'll be happy, but I'll be happy with 3-1, to be honest with you. Another 3 points on the board, hopefully, and then we can look forward to Leeds, who, incidentally, I think I read today, have scored the most goals in the Premier League from set pieces.
Oh, no.
Yes, exactly. Ampadu, I think, with the big long throw, and he got two of the weekend and scored himself. Yep. But yeah, no one scored more goals directly from set pieces.
Well, 2 of them were against Liverpool, weren't they? The penalty and the equaliser at the end.
Calvert-Lewin on fire as well.
It is indeed, yeah, trying to push his way into the England setup. It might be a bit premature, but let's not. We don't want to put the curse on that, so we'll wait and see how he does against Liverpool before we have any conversation about that, if we ever mention it again. So I think that's pretty much all from us today. Gorsty, thanks very much for working on a Boxing Day, even when you haven't got a match. That's good, but we're all in the same boat, so we'll let you off. Have you got any days off at all in between in this festive period, or you just been chained to the press box?
Chained to the fortunes of Liverpool as I normally am. I can't even think when I'm off. Maybe the 28th? Yeah, I'm off the 28th. Yeah.
Well, you've got a good job, so I don't feel too sorry for you, to be honest with you. But thanks very much for joining us, as always. Mark, same to you as well. That's all then from the Blood Red podcast today. Enjoy the festive period, and we'll see you soon.
This is the Blood Red podcast from the Liverpool Echo, giving you the inside track on all the big talking points from Anfield.